call the meeting to order. So I'm calling to order the meeting of the Berlin Cultural Council at 8:04 p.m. on August 24th, 2023, and pursuant to the governor's orders on open meeting law, this meeting is occurring on the Zoom platform. Your image and voice will be captured on recording. So, first item on the agenda is, because this is our first meeting since the last cycle of reappointments, the council roles need to be decided. So, starting with, I suppose, the chair of the committee, do we have any nominations for committee chair?
I nominate MJ.
Yeah, I nominate him. I second that.
Okay, I am willing to continue in that role, so we can put that to a vote then, unless there's any discussion of the matter.
Nope.
Hearing none, Jessica, yay or nay?
Yes.
Deborah, yay or nay?
Yay.
And I will politely abstain. So I will continue on as chair. So, treasurer, Deborah, can we convince you to remain in that role another year?
Yes, you can convince me.
Okay. Then do we have a nomination for treasurer?
I'll nominate Deborah for treasurer.
And I will second that. And unless there is any discussion to be had, Jess, yay or nay?
Yes.
Deborah, yay or nay?
I think I have to abstain, right?
Yeah, I shouldn't have worded it like that. And I will vote yes. And Jess, can we convince you to remain clerk?
Yes.
Okay, then do we have a nomination for clerk?
I will nominate Jess for clerk.
And I will second that. And assuming there is no discussion, Jess, your
I will
vote.
abstain.
Okay. Deborah, yay or nay?
Yay.
And I will vote in favor of that as well. So we will continue with those council roles the same as they were. So the next item on the agenda is the minutes from our meeting in March, which Karen had gathered together for us. So is there any discussion on the minutes?
I read them so long ago, I don't remember, but I don't remember having an issue with anything.
Yeah, I skimmed through them today. If I had been thinking, I probably should have put them, as a link, but I didn't think of that until I was at work today. So if there is no further discussion, do we have a motion to accept the minutes?
I move we accept the minutes as written.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, so Jess, yay or nay?
Yep.
Deborah, yay or nay?
Yay.
And I will vote in favor of accepting the minutes as written as well. So that brings up the treasurer's report.
Okay, so we haven't had anything since the end of June when the fiscal year closed, but we used our Berlin Cultural Council funds of $1,500, $1,000 to Link, and $500 to CPAC, which brought that balance down to zero. The MCC funds as of June 30th, 23 was standing at $4,347.83. We have accumulated $201.18 of interest in that account, and we have administrative funds of $246 $1,065. Although this has not shown, the paperwork has been submitted for Honky Tonk Piano Man, Diane Edgecombe, Pineapple Project, Lotus Flower Lantern, and Music Therapy at, I forget the name of the place in Harvard.
The Sound Garden.
Yes, thank you. And then that leaves us encumbered 3 items. Berlin Has Talent, Jay Makita, and the Old Methodist Episcopalian Church music program, which then, when I subtract all of that from the $4,347.83, leaves us a balance of 0 once all that's paid out. So the BCC funding for fiscal year 24 is $1,500 again. We have not been given our amount for MCC funding that we could find. So as of this meeting, we don't know what we have to fund for next year, but we absolutely will have to know once we have to have our meeting. And I also wanted to tell you, and I just forgot. So anyway, the money is all, June is in the process of doing the paperwork for what I have to have submitted by October in order to have our, mid-October in order to have our funding released. So I just talked to her about that the other day.
Yeah, and I was going through the Smart Simple site, and I'm wondering whether it will just automatically pop up with the money on September 1st when the draft for the financial stuff comes through. So maybe that might be how we finally find out about it.
Wait,
Yeah, because I couldn't find it anywhere.
there was an email today, but I didn't pay any attention. Oh, never mind. Not important.
Yeah, I think
Guidelines for webinar recording.
yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah, I can't recall seeing anything from them that was anything more substantive, but
Yeah, I think it was just about a webinar that, was it Grace? No, Hanako? Hanako is her
yeah,
first name.
yeah. But okay, well, I suppose I should. Do we have a motion to accept the treasurer's report as given?
I'll make a motion that we accept the treasurer report as given. Deborah, I may need to hit you up if we want the exact numbers in the minutes because I didn't
yeah,
catch everything.
I'll email it to you. I
Perfect.
finished it just a little bit before the meeting when I realized, geez, I better put this together. It's just I haven't had anything for the
No
longest
problem.
time.
Yeah,
Out in
My brain
so-
was just a little behind. I couldn't quite
yeah.
write all it down.
I think we're okay with how it came out, and I will second the motion to accept that. So, Jess, yay or nay to accepting the treasurer's
Yep.
report?
Yeah.
Deborah, yay or nay?
Yay.
Okay, good. I would hate for you to vote against your own report, and I will vote that we accept that report. So then that brings us to the results of our survey, which Jess emailed before the meeting.
So basically, I'll start by saying we should never use SurveyMonkey again unless the town has a paid account that they will share with us. I think Google has a free one that we should look at for next year.
Yeah,
We had 17 responses. SurveyMonkey only lets us view the 10 that they choose to let us view. So I shared those results, which I will attach to the meeting minutes. I'm happy to read them if Chris would like to hear them. Otherwise, I guess I could read them if we want, but do you want me to read them or not?
Yeah, I have a question. So
Yeah.
SurveyMonkey, even though we may have had more than, okay, so there were 17 submitted, but they only let you look at 10.
Because we were using the free account. Yeah,
Oh, okay, interesting.
we weren't even allowed to view the full results.
Well, that's too bad.
It was obnoxious because I
Yeah.
didn't see that anywhere before we put the survey up, that we weren't even going to be able to see our full results.
Well, hopefully the results we got, should in theory be representative of the total.
I think the results were really more representative of who responded first from Facebook, quite
Yeah.
frankly. I don't think they were actually representative of who uses cultural council
Yeah.
events.
Well, no, I meant more that hopefully the 10 out of the 17, hopefully the 10 is representative of the 17.
Well, again, I don't know if they would be, because if it just pulled the first 10 that responded, it could very well have been people who are just very comfortable with Facebook and SurveyMonkey and who acted quickly on it.
Yeah.
So I'm not convinced that it is representative.
Okay. Well, in skimming through it, my biggest takeaway was maybe the issue of people not necessarily knowing about all of the events that were going on.
Yeah.
Which is something that, I'm not sure whether we as a council, whether it would make sense for us to have like a Facebook page or something, because each of these various things should be engaging in their own press. But one thing I've noticed in general with town is it does feel, particularly in the center of town, where what's going on may not be well communicated. I was looking the other day at 1870 Town Hall's Facebook page, because there were a bunch of cards there for some event, and saw that it had been months since they had engaged in any sort of social media, and I'm not sure, how much, I think it seems like we have, in the center of town at least, a lot of things that go on between the church, the library, 19 Carter, and the town hall, but that there's not necessarily a good level of communication that the town in some fashion or another could be doing a better job and a more unified job of advertising what activities are out there. And I'm not sure how that might be best approached, but that seems like some work that could be done, that if an avenue is considered, that we could potentially be involved in one way or another. Hold on, Deborah, did you just get on?
I think so.
Okay.
I think with a Facebook page, the issue would be we would actually have to have people engage with our page.
Yeah.
I think it might be the more effective way would be to advertise once for each group in the neighbors page or something,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I just don't know that any of us really are going to want to take that on though either.
Yeah. I'm not really keen on the
It is something that the town, like, I do wonder if there is a mechanism with the town.
Turn that off. There we go.
mean, I don't know if the town would actually consider advertising events going on once a week through the town channels.
Yeah, well, the one reason I mentioned like the center of town is there is a Facebook page for that I think started a couple years ago or so that is Berlin MA Historical Town Center Community Programming, and I'm not sure who is running that, but yeah, that was created in 2021, but I'm not sure who's running it, but it does have library programs promoted, and so it may be I want to do some asking around and figure out what's going on with that, because that feels like something that I'm not seeing what they're doing, but that it may be a better segue to something more going on in town. But anyways, I think that's probably, unless anyone has anything to add about all I have to say on the community survey, but hold on. We now have Deborah twice. Do we, is one of these instances of Deborah actually here?
Sounding like it.
Okay, well, let's give that a minute.
It's messed up again.
So are you there?
Mm.
Deborah, it sounds like you can't hear us.
Hello? Testing, 1, 2. Can you hear us, Deborah? Okay, we're going back to phone, it looks like. Hello?
I had high hopes.
Well, hopefully we're just getting all the bad vibes done now.
Okay, good.
Okay, so unless you had anything more to say on the survey results, I think we're moving on to the next item on the agenda, which is our guidelines for the upcoming funding cycle. You still there?
Yep, still here.
Okay. So I was skimming over what we had last year and been using for previous years, and the only thing I was thinking of possibly adding, well, two things. One is perhaps we should change the report of how long the reimbursements take, because, well, it's fun to get in a lot faster than it says. I think there was at least one case where someone actually was looking at the number and concerned, because in our past guidelines, it said that reimbursement generally takes 8 to 10 weeks, and it gets done considerably sooner than that. So I'm not sure if we want to change that.
When I talked to this is Mary Mychak, she said that it said 30 days because she had I guess maybe you had forwarded the reimbursement stuff to me, and I got it all filled out and came around for the signatures and everything, and then about a week or so later I got the hard copy in the mailbox. So I sent her a quick email and said, everything's good, we're it's on its way, we process it as quickly as we can. And she said, well, on our site it said 30 days, because she said 30 days. I said, where'd you see that? And she said it was on the website. So guess I didn't see the 8 to 12 weeks, because she saw 30 days, she said.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at on Smart Simple, where it had our priorities from last year, and it said 8 to 10 weeks. So I was wondering whether we maybe want to say reimbursements generally take 3 to 4 weeks or 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, maybe go 4 to 6, just because by the time they get it to us, and I check the mail generally about once a week.
Yeah.
And then by the time I get everything done, it's another week. And then depending on how quickly June and everybody gets it out, it's going to be at least 4 weeks probably from the time it gets received, processed, and out. So I think 4 to 6 weeks is safe.
Yeah. I mean, I still, it's better to err on the side. I just 8 to 10 just looked kind of a little silly, because I don't think we've ever, at least in my time on it, have maybe it used to take that long in past, and just none of us have stopped to say, hey, we can change that. My only other thought was whether we it does say things like the purpose of the cultural council is to provide and maintain vitality for local cultural resources, and it does say that we want things local, but I was wondering whether we might want to add a line that more explicitly states that preference will be given to programs that are in or, you know, adjacent to the town of Berlin, you know, give a little more of an indication that things that are coming from farther away might
I think
not.
that would be a really good idea.
I mean, we can still entertain things, but it seems like we've been getting an uptick on things that are you know, not based really all that close, and I think it has generally been our opinion at the very least that is not really helping Berlin out too much.
Yeah.
So that was my one kind of creative thought of if everyone was good with it to throw in a line that kind of pushes that point home.
Yes, I think you're right. I mean, people really don't like to drive places. They want to do things within their community as much as possible, I think.
Yeah. Okay, so any other thoughts on any changes, or do we want to just stick to those ones and leave it as is from past iterations?
Did we have something in there? I remember in the past, we used to have a statement that anybody who was proposing a program from out of town needed to have a sponsor
Yeah,
in
applicants that plan on holding a program in Berlin must already have a sponsor venue and performance date secured in order to be considered for a grant.
Perfect. Okay. I just wanted to make
Which
sure
I
that-
realized we've probably been a little loose on that. So that was a good reminder that,
And that came up a bunch this past year.
yeah,
Well, maybe not a bunch, but it came up this past year. So
yeah,
it's good to confirm that we do.
okay. So any other discussion on the grant guidelines or?
No,
Okay,
not for me.
Me either.
okay, well, I'll make those couple little changes and get that submitted before the end of the month. The next item on the agenda, I threw on last minute. The seniors have been in contact with us about the Berlin Scout Talent Program, and we don't actually have anything to really vote on for that at the moment. So they didn't run that program. Judy said that the logistics on that didn't work out, and so they're in the process of developing a program to replace it that would be I think it was a painting class or something. Hold on.
Yeah, it's like she wanted to do some kind of painting workshop at Northbrook Village.
Yeah, and so they didn't have the particulars worked out on that. So she had emailed Deborah and I responded to indicate that we would before we could entertain a application to change the program and you know, postpone the program, that we would need to actually have who's going to teach the class, a vague idea of when it was going to happen. But my feeling was that until we're actually giving out money for the next grant cycle, that we don't need to have, you know, I think she's very concerned about trying to get something in so we could vote on it now, but I felt so long as that's squared away before we're looking at or voting on money for the next grants, that she had the time to get her ducks in a row with that, because I
So would this be, is she just, so, sorry, let me try and get my question formulated properly. This is to replace,
yeah,
it's a program to replace,
a program that
So-
didn't run.
right, which was a much more general and wide audience.
Yeah.
So now they want to replace it with something for the seniors.
Well,
That'd be at
that's also
Northbrook.
one to indicate that because we had approved it with that in mind, that it would be judged with that in mind. But
Would they be open to just opening it to community beyond the seniors?
well,
Since the original grant was for a program that was really
yeah.
all generations.
So she was originally describing the news thing as something she wanted to do just for the seniors, and said, I mean, I think if it's at Northbrook Village, it's probably not going to attract a diverse audience, but
No, but it would
it
be
should
nice
be
if it was open to
Yeah.
not just the seniors.
so
Because the program it's replacing was really
yeah,
something that looked like it would draw a pretty wide range of
Yeah.
people from the community.
yeah. So I think it's fair for our judgment on the details of that requires that sort of openness, but
Okay,
but I think, I feel comfortable enough letting her, work on those details and come back to us with the understanding that the money is still there,
of course.
So anything else to be said on that?
No, just that when she comes back, it has to be advertised in such a way that it's for the general population, I think, but we can discuss that when she comes back with it.
Yeah, we can work out. I mean, well, I'm sure she'll be in touch when she has more details, so we can advise on that, and we can either vote on that when we start looking at the grants, or we, if things work out, we can potentially have, a quick meeting at some point on just that. So that brings us to the next item on the agenda, which was our recruitment efforts. So if we haven't scared you off with our technical difficulties, I am gonna promote you, Chris, to be a panelist.
Hi, how you doing?
Doing all right, and you?
I'm always amazing.
So yeah, we are usually not this disjointed, so this may indicate why we were looking to diversify our demographics, that we need someone younger who's probably not gonna have
Right.
any problems as we do.
No, you're all good. I grew.
Come on, MJ. We're not that old.
I was going to
Fine,
say,
don't worry
we
about
also don't usually
You're
have any
as old as
problems.
you feel, which I'm that old.
No, I was in high school during the whole Zoom thing, so like I understand it is all very confusing.
Yeah, we're usually better. I'm kind of, a little self-deprecating humor, but like I said, I just got a new computer this week, and I was so worried that I was going to have a problem, that I have the old computer still plugged in with like the right pages open, just in case I had trouble with
Right.
this one. But
You're all good. You're all good. I was ready. I was ready for anything. So
okay, so yeah, so normally we so if, unless we have a short meeting to approve the thing for the seniors beforehand, what would happen is, so starting in September, the people applying for grants, they'll start doing that, and I think they have until mid-October to do that, and the state then they gathered all that information together, and there's a website we all access that gives us that information. So, say, well, we get 1,500 from the town, from the state. We'll probably have, say, around $7,000, but we'll be $12,000 or something worth of requests come in, and then we have the fun of, okay, this program, a lot of times you'll get grants that's, something in Worcester, and they're trying to get money from all the cultural councils in the area, and most of people, a lot of things is just not things we expect people want to travel for, so we try to look more at the programs kind of in town and in person. But and then but we try to approve everything we can that's gonna kind of fit those requirements, and then we play around with, okay, well, we approved grants requesting up to, let's say, 9,000, we have to shave off a couple of thousand, so we figure out kind of, okay, what ones do we want to try to fund more, which ones do we feel more comfortable that they can get the funding elsewhere, or maybe this program has for a few years we've been giving money, and this one's we try to balance it out in whatever way is works best for the town. We try to give people the greatest bang for their buck, as it were, and that's pretty much what it entails, is playing with those numbers and the little bureaucracy before and after the process.
Righto. All right. Yeah, no, I sent my application form it's either yesterday or this morning, I can't exactly remember, but so I mean, hopefully I'll be officially part of it, but after the guys the board or whatever.
Yeah, so I'm not sure whether it may. So the select board meets every Monday, so it might be a case that, depending on everything for meetings like this, the meetings have to be announced 48 hours in advance, and the agendas have to be in place in advance. So some boards, they'll have a little legal wording that allows them to pick up some things that weren't on the agenda. So I'm not sure whether they'll look at it this Monday or the following Monday, but that at the latest there would be like a week and a half from now that they would vote on that, and then they'd contact you, or they might solicit our official opinion first. So I had already indicated to them that this was recruitment that we had done, and that we're in favor of that. So hopefully that will get straightened out soon. But like I said, probably, unless we do a meeting on the senior grant, we probably won't actually have to meet again until probably like the beginning of November or something like that. We have one meeting where we decide which grants we are going to approve, and then for ones we reject, they get 2 weeks to appeal to the state, so we don't give out the money until after that has gone through. We've never had anyone, at least in the time I think any of us have been on, that's appealed the rejection. But in theory, we have to give the time for that to potentially happen before we decide all the money. So there's usually one meeting to decide the grants, another meeting to decide the money, kind of a month apart or something like that.
I get you.
So,
Joining us.
But yeah, so can't think of anything else of note there. Jess, Deborah, anything you want to add?
We're glad you're joining
No.
us.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you will be an asset, definitely an asset.
yeah, I think we've all been hoping that we could use our vacancy as an opportunity to to broaden what is represented here. And so in this case, your age is really an asset to us because, we
Excuse the dogs. I apologize if you can hear.
It's fine.
we all have our little, well, I suppose I don't have any noises. My dog is quite quiet there, but
Well trained, I assume.
yes, he it's right. At 19 Carter, I volunteered there, and over the years, a few of the volunteers would bring their dogs, so I decided I start bringing mine, and mine is well better behaved than any other dog I've seen there. But
A
yeah,
lot less bathroom breaks, I assume, as well.
yeah, but no worries on that front. But yeah, so we're not the most, well, I think any committees these days, meeting on Zoom, there's always, someone's kid is coming asking something, or have a spouse walking, meetings, the decorum is a little reversed, but Zoom has been helpful, though we also might, depending on how things are going at the time, consider meeting in person. I personally prefer meetings in person, but I've found some value to Zoom, particularly, coming home at the end of the workday. It's a little more relaxing to be at home and not be like, crap, I need to go from work to the town offices and such. But
I'm much more for in person.
yeah,
That's because of the company that handles Zoom and not Zoom in itself.
yeah. So I think when we get closer to the meeting day, well, we can discuss by email, kind of how we're feeling, what's going on. But so yeah, so I think the only other item I had on the agenda was just talking about meeting time. So does anyone have days of the week that are better or worse, just to think about going forward?
I'm okay with pretty much any night, MJ,
Okay,
except once a month when I have the AgCom meeting, which is on the first Tuesday of the month. Other than that, my evenings are fine.
And I only have problems with one Monday a month with CPAC.
okay. Yeah, community preservation, we've been meeting on Tuesday, so that I think it is the only day that has too much to it. And then of course I work till 7, so I if we had, for a more substantive meeting, I would probably aim to start at 7:30. I'd want to give myself a little more time, since I figured most of these items we were gonna get through quickly. But and Chris, you said that your schedule at work can be kind of a little flexible.
It changes often, but as I did say, yeah, it's completely flexible. I can take whatever day off as long as I get advance.
Yeah, I always try and make sure that we get that figured out ahead of time. So
You can tell me if you need to at the gym store, even.
yeah, I found it. I miss having a separate work town from hometown. It's nice to have a little different environment, but it makes doing town government stuff lot easier when, you're running into the people you need to talk to about things, or, Deborah can come get a signature from me at work. So I'm finding that a good place to be for that.
Right.
Okay, so I think that covers everything I had on the agenda. So do we have a motion to adjourn?
My favorite words are, I move we adjourn.
Okay, do we have a
I'll
second?
second that.
Okay.
Not that I don't like talking to all of you. I
Yeah,
didn't want
well-
it to sound that way.
Yeah, no,
We understand.
it's been a long day. I think we're okay. So we'll put that to a vote. Jess, yay or nay?
Yes, please.
And Deborah, yay or nay?
Okay.
And I vote we adjourn as well.